Hello everyone, PowerPoint tricks, creating animated stories. Today we're going to talk about using animations to show a process. And I'm going to start with a sample presentation designed for healthcare. Now, I'm not a healthcare expert. My only purpose here is to show you what is possible with PowerPoint. Now, this presentation is on the gallbladder, and I think the gallbladder is around there. So let me just explain the demo, and then we can talk about how to make this kind of PowerPoint. So here's the gallbladder. Here's the liver. Here's the stomach, and the liver produces bile, and you can see the bile flowing, and it goes into the gallbladder, and the gallbladder actually stores the bile. Now here comes the food into the stomach, and watch what happens to the gallbladder. The gallbladder contracts, and the bile goes onto the food, and then the food breaks down and goes on its way. Now what about gallstones? Here you can see some gallstones, and here the liver produces bile, so you can see the bile flowing, and the bile goes into the gallbladder. And here comes the food into the stomach. Now the gallbladder contracts, but a stone gets stuck in the duct. So now the food goes down, and there's not enough bile to break down the food. Let's talk about the PowerPoint. I know a lot of people watching this video are not healthcare students, but was my explanation about the gallbladder clear? Would my explanation have been just as clear if I had used a bulleted list? I don't think so, and I think this is the real advantage of using these kinds of graphics and animations, is that you can communicate complex information simply to a general audience. Before I continue, let me cite my sources. Remember, I'm not an expert in healthcare. I had to do some research before creating this PowerPoint. I needed to look at images of a gallbladder so that I could create an image of a gallbladder. I needed to look at how the system works so I could animate my story. So these are the sources which I used. I just want to highlight one of the sources, Emmy Dervin, Jen Forge, and Victoria Merrick, who were students in my sonography class in 2012, and they created a great PowerPoint on gallstones using an animated story. Creating animated stories looks very complex, but it's actually very simple. There are only two steps. First, create your graphics or find your images. And second, add your animations. We're going to start with a simple animated system that looks like this. Now this animated style is similar to what I used to show the food going into the stomach. Then we're going to try this animated system. Now this animation style is similar to the bile flowing from the liver into the gallbladder. So let's get started. Step one is create your graphics. So I'm going to switch to normal view, and this is a graphic which we're going to create. And I'm going to create it between slides 15 and 16. So I'm going to click in between slides 15 and 16, and then I'm going to go up and I'm going to click on New Slide, and a new slide comes here. Now by default, you can see these boxes come out. I want to get rid of these boxes, so just drag over top of them and select them, and then click Delete. So I need two rectangles and a curved line, so I'm going to go to Insert, Shapes, and I'm going to draw a rectangle. And I draw my one rectangle there. Now I want my rectangles to be exactly the same size, so I'm going to copy and paste. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to go Control-C, and then I press Control-V, and now I have two rectangles exactly the same size. Now I want to do a curved line going between the rectangles. So I'm going to click on Insert, and I'm going to click on Shapes, and then I'm going to go to this one here which says Curve. So the way the curved line works is you click once on the starting point, and then drag a little bit and click again, and drag a little bit, click again, drag and click, and drag and click. Okay, so now I have my wavy line here. Now the next thing which I want to do is I'm going to right click on this, and on the bottom it says Format Shape. I'm going to click on Format Shape. And now I can see that the line properties come up, and I want to go to the width of the line. It says 1 point, and I want to change the thickness of that to 25 points, or you can change it to whatever thickness you like. So next I want to change the color of this. So I'm going to click on the line, and I'm going to go to Drawing Tools, and then it says Shape Line, and I want to choose the correct shape color so that it's the same color as the boxes there. Now I've got my basic shape here. now what I need to do is I need the graphic for the animated objects. So I'm going to go to Insert, and I'm going to click on Shapes, and I'm going to choose any object. I think I'm going to choose this one here, an explosion, and I'm going to draw a small explosion here. Now I'm going to change the shape fill color so that it stands out, a bright red. And I'm going to just create the exact same one. So Control C, Control V, and now I have two. And there we go. So this is my starting point, and now I'm ready to animate. So now let's animate this. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to close the Format Background pane. And then I'm going to go up to Animations and click on Animation pane. And the animation pane opens. Now click on the first object you want to animate. So I'm going to click on the explosion. Then I'm going to go to Add Animation. And then scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you can see Custom Path under Motion Paths. Click on Custom Path. And now you just draw a line of where you want this animation to go. And I'm going to draw from the one rectangle to the other. When you get to the end, double click, and now you have guided where you want that object to go. So I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other object. So Add Animation, scroll down to the bottom, Custom Path, and now I'm going to draw a line where I want this object to go, and I double click at the end. Okay, now if we look at that in slideshow mode, you can see I click once and then I click twice. Now what I want to do is I want this slide to start automatically. So I'm going to get this one. I'm going to click on Start with Previous, and I'm going to click on Start with Previous. Now as soon as this slide opens, the animations are going to start, and both items are going to start at exactly the same time. So let's see. So they're now both moving at the same time. I don't want them to go at the same time. I want the one to start when the other one is halfway. So I'm going to click on this one, and I can see that the duration, the animation duration, is 2 seconds, and they're both 2 seconds. So I want this one to be delayed by 1 second. So that way, when the one of them is in the middle, the other one is going to start. And let's see what that looks like. So the one goes, and now the other goes. Okay. Now it's only going one time. So what I want it to do is I want it to keep continuing in an endless loop. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to go to Timing. And it says Repeat. And I'm going to click on the triangle here. And I'm going to go all the way down until end of slide. And it will keep repeating until the end of the slide. And click OK. And now I'm going to do exactly the same to the second one. So go to Timing. You could click on Effect Options because you can see the timing is right next to it here. And then go down to Repeat until end of slide. And then click OK. So let's see how that looks. So I'm going to click to slideshow mode. And it looks pretty good, but there's two things that I don't like right now. Number one, it's accelerating here, and then it's deaccelerating at the end. I want it to just go a constant speed throughout. And the other thing I don't like is that it's appearing suddenly inside the middle of the box. I want it to come out of the box right at this border here. So let's see if we can change that. So the first thing is the animation. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to click on Effect Options. And you see here it says Smooth Start and Smooth End. So it's basically Smooth Start means it's slowly accelerating for the first second, and Smooth End means it's deaccelerating for 1 second. So I want to change the Smooth Start and Smooth End to 0 seconds. Okay, and now it's a constant speed. I'm going to do exactly the same to the second animation. So Effect Options and Smooth Start to 0 and Smooth End to 0. Okay, So there's one other thing that I want to change here is that it's suddenly appearing in the middle of the box here. I want it to appear at this border. So let's change that. So I'm going to click on the box and I'm going to go up to Drawing Tools and I'm going to click Bring to Front. And what's going to happen is the explosions are going to be behind the box and you won't see them until they get to this point here. So I'm going to click on Bring to Front and now the explosions are behind. And let's see what that looks like. So that's looking much better to me now. So you can use this kind of animation to show the flow of particles through any kind of system. So now let me show you how to create this animation. So step 1 was to create your graphics, and I've already created my graphic here. Step 2 was to create the animation. So let's see how to do that. So here's my graphic. And the first thing I need to do is just copy and paste this wavy line. So Control C, Control V, and I've copied 2 versions of the exact same line. Now the next thing which I need to do is I need to change the color of the line. So I'm going to go up to Drawing Tools, and I'm going to go to Shape Outline because it's a line, and I'm going to change it to another color. Maybe this one, maybe I'll do purple. Now I'm going to right click on the shape, and I'm going to go down to Format Shape. And right now, remember, our line was 25 points wide. What I want to do is I want to change it. I want to make this line thinner. So I'm going to make this line 15 points wide. So it's a thinner line. Now I'm going to put this line exactly on top of the other line. And it's exactly the same shape, so it should just fit right on, just like that. Now what I'm going to do is I need to move this rectangle and this rectangle to the front because I can see the edge of this purple line and I don't want to. So I'm going to go up to Drawing Tools and I'm going to go to Bring Forward or Bring to Front. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. And a simple little strategy is to press Control Y. You can just repeat the exact action which you did last time. So let's just see what that looks like. So you can see the water is flowing here, but there's no motion yet. So I got to create the animation now. So I'm going to click on the purple line. And now I'm going to go up to Animations. And I'm going to go to Add Animation. And I'm going to go to Wipe. And I'm going to just close the Format Background pane and open the Animation pane. And you can see my animation here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the options. So it's right now wiping from the bottom. I want it to wipe from the left. So now it's going from the left. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Now if that's too fast, I can slow it down. I can click on this and I can adjust the speed. So I'm going to adjust the speed to 1.5 seconds. And so now you can see it slowly flowing. One other thing which you could do is you can also add an exit animation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Add Animation, and I'm going to go to Exit, and I'm going to do Wipe. And again, I'm going to wipe from left. Okay? And I've got 2 clicks. So here we go. Here's my first click, and there's my second click. So for creating animated stories, first you have to create your graphic, and you can see then you add your animation, and I have a wipe animation here. For the food coming down, you can see that I have a custom path animation and then a wipe animation coming down here. If you actually look at this, you can see that I have 2 slides, and on slide 1 I have several animations. On slide 2 I have a lot more animations on slide 2. In part 2 of this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to make these graphics and how to make this animation.